Okay, we are live, and I realize that I'm going live a little bit earlier than normal, but my trip is tomorrow. So part of the reason, like in the last show we were talking about, I can't really spend any money. This is why I'm be heading to my vacation tomorrow. Technically, I kind of started it today, but today was like a prep day to get a bunch of stuff up and running, to get things ready so that I would be fine when said day, came around, today. So that's why. A couple of things that I know right off the bat that I want to talk about. One actually deals with Motu. I know that shocks people. But what I specifically want to bring up is that Night Stalker is still available. I was wondering about this when it was first brought up. Like, I really was wondering about it. No, I have Mikey Man. I have Mikey Man. I don't really plan on talking about him other than the fact that he has an awesome wig. And can the wig be shared? I actually didn't test that. I'll have to test that on Raphael when I open him tomorrow, actually. But, no, actually, so I went out of my way to buy Night Stalker, because I knew that I was going to want him. I mean, I knew without a doubt that I was going to want him, even though I also knew that this one was going to be tricky. See, I wondered about this one from the very beginning. Hey, what's going on, man? When they announced him, I remember saying, yeah, but they couldn't get the other horse off the shelves. Like, no matter what they did, they could not sell the other horse. It was amazing. He was going for $5 in clearance aisles and stuff like that. He was taking up space. There were still horses as far back. No, as not far back. Like, not way too long ago at all, I was able to still go to Walmart and find the horses. They couldn't get rid of them. And then finally, they go out of their way to come in and do the repaint. And I just can't help but wonder, why did we hold off on the repaint? Like, what was the reason for holding off on the repaint for so long? Because that's exactly what this is. It's a repaint with a different stand. That's it. They didn't even bother to change the armor piece for the top. Like, I'm not sure why. Does he come with both armor tops? That's a question to ask. Because if he doesn't, then I just made the decision as to which one of these armor tops I'm going to be using for the actual horse in general. In fact, just to argue, I mean, you can still buy him. In Origins, this is not normal for an Origins thing to sit around like this. It is not regular. Usually these go fast. And we've seen that these things go fast all the time. Like, it's crazy how quick they disappear. And yes, just like there is Panther to Battle Cat, yes, there is Nightmare for Skeletor and his warriors. We need to go to the Shop All Motu Collectors, because that's where I'm going to find it real quick. Let's go down. I don't know how far I'm going to have to go to actually find this horse. There he is. That's Stridor right there. And Stridor comes with two. Okay, so that explains it right there. So that top right there, that hood piece, this is the hood piece I need to use for Stridor then. Just to differentiate them enough. Like, but you can see what I'm getting at. I mean, it is a hard repaint, and that's all it is. It's a repaint. Even the extra little effect pieces that come with it are hard repaints. And it took them so long to finally put this one out. I will say this one looks better. I really do like it. But black and gold is a proven color scheme in general. Fire is a little cooler than like the blue plasma beams. This is just neat because it really seems to fit the aesthetic of the color scheme in general. It's good. It's a good solid horse. But like, as you could tell, and I made comment to this when they first said, "Hey, Night Stalker, here he comes." I said, "Is he gonna sell?" Because they could not sell Stridor for the life of them. I mean, he was holding up shelves everywhere. They couldn't give him away. In fact, I got one at a convention for like, I think it was like $15. Like it was practically nothing what I got for Stridor. And it was such a deal. I even made a joke about it. When I did the video, I even did a joke about it. I was like, I had Skeletor come in and everything and be like, hey fool. Because like I just knew. And here it is. They can't sell him. But had I been wrong, that would have been a real problem. Had I been wrong and just said, he'll be there, there's no problem, I'm going to be able to get him, Stridors were everywhere, there's no way this horse is going to sell out. If I'd have been wrong about that, I'd have been screwed. Like, there'd have been nothing I could have done about it. I'd have just been screwed, because every time we act like we can predict the market, and we do it a lot, in toys we always act like we can predict the market. We can't. We don't know. We don't know how many they're going to make. We don't know how many your store's going to get. We don't know how fast people are going to want them, and depending on how fast people want them as well can be another problem altogether, because if there's a limited supply, if the supply is low, we can end up with a problem like we had with other figures. Like, and I know I keep going back to this, but it makes my point. When they did Batman, when they did the gray and blue Batman for superpowers, for the superpower line, there was no doubt in my mind, and for that matter, a lot of other people's minds too, that he would be available. He's Batman. I mean, Todd McFarlane is the master of selling Batman figures, and Todd McFarlane knows that Batman sells, and Todd McFarlane knows that you can reprint 1,000 Batmans and he will sell. So I said to myself, when that Batman came out, it'll be fine. I'm in no rush. I don't need to pre-order. I'll get him when I get him. And I waited, and then I waited, and then I waited. And I started to figure out that not only was he not appearing in stores, he was appearing nowhere. He had sold out. His price had doubled. In some buying circles, quadrupled. And you could not get a gray-blue Batman. It blew my mind how hard he sold out. So I had no choice. I had to pay aftermarket prices to get a hold of a Batman, and I did. And at the same time, Yellow Cape Robin, I got a hold of one of those, and I also put it on my shelf. And I paid almost, I want to say the Robin ended up costing me like $25. Doesn't sound like a big deal, but these are $10 figures. And the Batman cost me like $30, and then the Batmobile cost me $40. And so I basically paid like almost $100. I paid like $100 for 2 superpower figures and a vehicle. And that's a lot when you talk about that line. Something like Night Stalker. Had I been wrong, and had I said, he'll stick around, I can get him anytime I want, and I'd been wrong about it, I simply wouldn't have got one. He would have been like $100 horse on the aftermarket. And I bet you I'll bet you, and I didn't pay attention, but I'll bet you people already had him priced that way. If I would have been paying attention to the aftermarket, I'll bet you he was priced that way already. And I just didn't know because I wasn't paying any attention. But I'll bet you he was. I'll bet you he was priced like that. There's almost no doubt in my mind that he was priced like that. So right now I'm looking down the line here and I'm seeing what's available for us to talk about today. Just finding some talking points and whatnot. We are going to check this out. We're going to check this out. I know you can't see the screen right now, but I'm getting stuff ready. So there's that. Oh, I do want to talk about that. I want to see that figure. I want to see this statue. I want to see this figure. Oh, we're definitely going to look at this because, oh, and that looks fantastic. And there, I think I've got myself a good roundabout of stuff that'll give us some conversation pieces that we can actually have for a while here. And we've got some toy talk to do. So let me go back here. Let me set some stuff up. Whoop. Bring me down into the corner. Itty bitty Bill. And we will be set. Checking the chat. Nobody's really got anything going right now, but that's fine. We will figure it out as we go. So, we're going to go, well, we'll start here. So, I clicked on this because I want to see this. This is crazy that this is a thing. I don't think many of these other things are going to catch my attention right now. This, I still want that Vampirella. I'm debating when I come back from my vacation if I'll buy into that Vampirella. I'm still in debate as to whether or not I want to do that, but I like Vampirella. I would love to have one on the shelf, in all honesty. So I am in debate about doing it. Okay. I think that's that. Oh, what's going on here? We got people talking. Yes, I did hear that they're making us Spaceballs too, and I don't know what to think about that. Like, I really don't know what to think about that because it's not that I don't like it. So, because that's gonna immediately people are gonna be like, oh, Bill doesn't like Spaceballs. That has nothing to do with anything. I'm curious about the fact that they're doing a Spaceballs 2, like when most of the actors are either A, dead, or B, retired. Like, so how do you continue the Spaceballs story with like a whole new group? I'm curious, what are they even going to do? That's the thing. I don't know how you do a part 2. I don't know how you continue it. I don't know. I guess the thing is I'm just very lost as to what they're going to do with that. I hope it's good, but I don't know. I really wonder about what they're going to do with that. And yes, Gremlin and Predator is considered to be in the horror genre. Horror is broad-reaching, just like comedy is broad-reaching, just like action movies. Not every action movie is Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator. Some action movies are quote-unquote Jackie Chan films and so on and so forth. I mean, an action movie is, everything falls into multiple categories, but the umbrella horror movie dictates the idea of monsters. Gremlins are monsters. Some people are scared of little bitty creatures. That all plays into it. You could talk about, yes, Sario bought me Keldor today. I didn't expect that, but I got a text last night from Sario's wife that said, "Do you have him yet?" And she sent me a picture of Keldor, and I was like, no, I don't. He's one of the guys on my checklist for the Masterverse. Definitely somebody I like. Definitely somebody I absolutely love. I mean, come on. Keldor was played by William Shatner brilliantly. To think that Keldor and Skeletor are the same person, and that they were played by Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, and William Shatner, Captain Kirk, in the same body was almost a very blatant attack on fandoms saying, guys, calm down. One doesn't have to be better than the other. They're just both interesting science fictions. Like, it almost felt like it was a direct attack. Like, look, guys, Star Wars and Star Trek can play together, okay? You don't have to be so one side. It almost felt like it was doing that. It really blew me away. And it was actually you using her phone. Okay, I get it. That makes a little more sense, because I was curious. I was like, why is she, like, sending me? But, yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I did not expect that. I definitely did not expect that. So you've actually bought me 2 Masterverse figures now, because you also bought me Fisto. Imagine they start making figures of the Twisted Childhood Cinematic Universe. If you don't know what that is, it's Disney horror parody movies that I'd be surprised. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be surprised. There's like action figures of everything now. So, I mean, I don't know how shocked I would be about that. Now, what I am surprised about, though, is this. You can get a Pumpkinhead figure. Like, and this is what I mean about right now. I get such a kick out of these people that I see people constantly that are like, there's just nothing out there that I want, or I'm getting out of collecting because they're not making the things that I care about, or so and so and so forth. And guys, we are in an absolute golden age of the action figure collector market. If you can't find anything you like, it's not the market, guys. I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense. It's not the market. If you can't find anything you like, it's you. You're just not interested anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, like, guys, you can get almost anything now. It is amazing the stretch that exists. And I've seen the complaints. In fact, I had one on my video just a couple days ago. I had a complaint by somebody that was very much like, oh, they charge way too much for these action figures. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that they don't cost $10 anymore. But how long can we cry about that at this point? Like, are we not... Guys, we live in an age right now where expect to pay at least $14 a piece per person for a McDonald's drive-thru order. Like, and if I'm putting that into perspective, my toys always cost me more to buy toys than it did for me to eat. Always. I used to go to McDonald's with literally $3 in my pocket, or a $5 bill, and I know I'm showing my age hard here, but I used to walk down to McDonald's with a $5 bill in my pocket and leave with a Big Mac meal. A $5 bill. And now, I'm just saying, like, and I know my toys were not a $5 deal, so like, I know that toys feel expensive right now, but maybe it's just the fact that everything is. It's not really a toys problem right now. It would be cool to get Spaceball figures. NECA would be my go-to after the great job they did with Flash Gordon. I can't speak to the Flash Gordon stuff. I will say, just off the cusp, though, I got the horror figures that I wanted from NECA not way too long ago. And the more I mess with them, the more it's kind of turning me off of NECA. I don't have very much NECA. I have Elvira and a couple of things here and there. Like, I have a really good Freddy Krueger, but he already broke like twice. And I'm not that rough with my action figures, but like the seam at his crotch popped. And then, like, his arm is... like, it's really hard to pose them sometimes. I think they look great. But their movement reminds me of, like, figures from, like, 12, 13 years ago, if you want the truth of it. Like, They don't want to articulate very well for me sometimes. And I've gotten some good shots with them. I've done some cool stuff with them, but like nothing that blows my mind in a way that made me feel like I could pull off anything. Like, you do have to be creative with them, but they're good for what they are, but I don't know. NECA I go back and forth with. I'll find figures that I really like, and then I'll find figures that make me go, I don't know how thrilled I am with NECA right now. So I don't know. I'm really back and forth with it. So I don't know if I would want NECA doing Spaceball figures. Aside from the fact that I'll bet they'd get the likeness spot on. But then, if I'm going to pull that back a little bit and argue, I would also say that if Spaceballs ever got the right to do merchandising, because Jake said it right here, and he is right. George Lucas had originally said that they cannot make Spaceballs anything due to copyright, blah, 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 yada, yada. Yes, that's true, but now it's owned by Disney. Disney likes money. If Disney has any ability to uplift that or like pull it back and say, well, we're doing a part 2, let's rework the contract, that could be very different. That could be a very different idea. Oh, and by the way, this isn't a bootleg Xenomorph. This is Pumpkinhead. And look up the art guys that actually did it. It's not a knockoff. But, no, Pumpkinhead was awesome, man. Pumpkinhead was literally the stuff of nightmares. But I don't know. Like, we're also looking at a time where She-Ra and He-Man are not allowed to meet on screen, and it very much looks like we're moving that direction. So, like, I don't know. I think the future's wide open for stuff like that right now. I think we're going to be surprised with some stuff that comes down the pipeline as people kind of loosen the reins and try to make some money. Okay, so see, this is the one that, oh my God, $130? Wow. Guys, that's the figure I bought. That's him. That's the NECA figure that I specifically bought. Yeah, he has the screaming face with the half brain. Main screaming face, the decent sweater. He's got he's got a decent pose. He's got the fingers with the actual knives coming out of his fingers. And then he also has the glove, which I, of course, use the glove hand. I prefer the Freddy Krueger with the glove hand. Of course I do. Guys, $130? Maybe it's not what I'm thinking. Is he a bigger version of it? Is that what I'm thinking? 18 inches. He's a bigger version of it. Because I was going to say, no way. I thought for a second that his price had skyrocketed for some reason or something like that. It's not the one that I have. It's not the one that I have. Yes, it is. This is this bigger. It is bigger. Yeah, it is most assuredly bigger. Because, wow, that shot. I was like, no way. But yeah, I should have looked. I'm so stupid about that. It says 1/4 scale. I knew it. I knew before I even clicked on it, really, if I'm being honest with myself. Oh well. This is just a statue. Okay, statues are cool, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. I thought I saw a figure, and not like this. I thought I saw like a more detailed. Is that it? Yeah. $37.99 Evil Dead 2 NECA figure right there. Dude, this is what interests me more. You want the truth of it? Is the cabin. Are they going to sell that? Like, are they going to do a diorama where you can buy the like 2 or 3 of the cabin walls? Because I would buy 2 or 3 of the cabin walls. Dude, this is actually pretty good. Oh, cool. It comes with the Deadite head. Look, when you light NECA figures and everything, that's what I'm getting at. NECA plays very well with photography, but you can blatantly tell, because of the design, they're working with articulation factors from like sometimes 15 years ago. Like, they're more posable statues than anything else. There's a lot of poses that you simply can't get with this guy. In fact, I'm noticing, you know what they don't show you? I'm double checking just to be sure. They don't show you him on the ground about to saw his own hand off because he can't take that pose. In fact, NECA figures have trouble even sitting down. I know there are people that are big fans of NECA. There's nothing wrong with that. I do like NECA for what it's worth. But we gotta be honest about it. We gotta be honest about it. There are problems. There are improvements the lines could make, without a doubt, in NECA. NECA is one of them that's far behind the times in terms of modern articulation. Especially sometimes the ankles don't have the correct swivel, and it doesn't matter that they have certain bends at all because you can't even get them to look right in certain poses for photography. NECA, Mondo, and Hot Toys are the top 3 candidates for Spaceballs stuff if it ever happened. I get it. I get your argument there, but I have to throw a wrench in here. If these turn out, if you ever got toys based on Spaceballs, it would not surprise me at all to watch Hasbro be the ones to do it. Because they're already doing Star Wars, and if they double back that as a parody line and then keep it all, money rolling in. And I realize that the sculpting and everything like that would have to be overhauled because there's certain body types and everything like that that don't yet exist in the line to be able to do it. But it would not surprise me at all if they did something like that, if they tried to keep it under Hasbro's umbrella. But Mondo has surprised me in grabbing license that we never thought anybody was going to get. Like modern articulation, sculpt, real Ghostbusters coming out. We never thought that was coming. We never thought that was coming. Fun fact, I embarrassingly forgot Freddy Krueger's name for so many years, I just called him Edward Scissorhands. No, that's funny for you. Freddy's my favorite, so I take offense. Yes, this toy is in fact groovy. It is cool, but I do have my issues when it comes to NECA for what it's worth. What do you think is the optimal time to announce convention-exclusive figure prices? I need to budget for Jada's SDCC Violent Kin and the pink Chun-Li and add international shipping. Ouch! Ouch, sir. Keaton Car 89. Sir. I honestly feel for you. That last part right there that you put in, and add international shipping, that is real money. I completely understand 1,000%. That is real money. That's tough. I don't know. The only thing I could tell you realistically is I would always, on a personal note, if you know that SDCC is something that you want in lock, I would honestly have about $400 ready to go, put back 4 months in advance before any time SDCC rolls around. All the time. I wouldn't count on companies and things like that. I would make it a point to kind of pivot that money back because you know that there's going to be things there. Now I say this. Most of the time, I can skip a lot of the SDCC exclusive stuff and not even blink an eye. I really can. Do I like Pink Chun-Li? Sure. But I don't need her. At all. I have regular Chun-Li. I'm more than happy with the regular Chun-Li. I have absolutely no problem with the normal Chun-Li. And the only thing I'm going to miss out on is a couple of hands and the head that I really did want. But I don't need a pink Chun-Li, another figure of the same thing taking space on my shelf because, and we've mentioned this before, That space back there is prime real estate. You got to earn your right to get back there, and double backing on a lot of figures, that doesn't do me any favors, because there's still a lot of stuff that I got coming in. Let's see here. No, I don't think they look like Robot Chicken figures at all. Robot Chicken figures is more like Mego type stuff. And that's exactly what I mean. But it's not just without John Candy. I think there's a lot of people they can't get. Like, there's most of the actors that made Spaceballs what it is are either retired or passed away. I really don't know what they're going to do. When they announced it, I was stupefied. I was like, awesome. Wait. What are we going to do? Like, what is that? How do we continue from that point? Like, I don't know. I'm really confused at what they're going to do with that. Do you watch the Merkins? Because the Merkins, man, that's a Freddy Krueger to admire. He's fantastic, man. I think if Hasbro did it, it would probably be Black Series style. And that's what I mean. I think so as well. And I also think along those terms, it would then scale those figures into the Black Series style line, which would also be pretty funny because you could match up things for photography purposes and whatnot if they were all in that scale. That personally, I like the 6-inch scale. I think it's the ideal area for figures. And it honestly bothers me a little bit that all my He-Man stuff is 7-inch scale, because it kind of puts them tall versus everybody, and it makes it hard to like match up certain things or do other ideas that I may have had. But Super 7 mins well with them, and a lot of the like DC figures go with them now because Todd McFarlane pretty much owns that line. So I don't know. It's arguable either way. Let's see. Yes. And right, and I get that. But even so, what do you do with half your people missing that made it what it was? And yes, I'm good. I'm glad to see that comment, because it means that you are a man of culture. You also listen to Merkins. Let's see. Let's move on from this guy here. These I did want to talk about. Super 7 has the 2003 Ninja Turtles coming out. Now, some people know him. If you're here from Fandom Night, then you definitely know him. You know Scott Action Jackson. This is the Turtles he's been waiting for. And I can sympathize with him. These are a set of Turtles that simply did not exist. They've had very little attention. Yes, there were figures, but they weren't great figures. And while you could still get classic figures and new figures, this middle era of Turtles is kind of sandwiched in and forgotten. It doesn't get a lot of talk, and it doesn't get a lot of play. It just doesn't show up on store shelves on the normal, and you can't really get your hands on it. And that is kind of sad, because if this was your Turtles, you've been kind of left behind for a long time, so these are cool to see. But at the same time, we also have to say this. Super 7 figures are like $60. And this isn't even the same value that I see in other ones. Look. One head, two head, couple of hands, a phone, swords. Like, that's it. And guys, just so we're clear on this, that is a big deal. Because if we just go back... I'm not going to go back very far. I just need to find one turtle. Come on, bring me a turtle. There's Raphael. Guys, look, if you bought Raphael, this is normal. You got 2 throwing stars. You have the original weapons rack. You have all these different hands. You have pizza. You have 2 heads. You have, of course, the turtle. You have a comm closed, a comm open, and all these weapons right here. And, of course, the ones that go right here. With decently modern articulation, as well as some good craft points and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Now, this has been marked down, so you can get these a lot easier now. They're only about $40, which is nice, but it does point out the issue here that this Leonardo comes with almost nothing. Like, that's it. As opposed to the other Leonardo, which comes with a lot more than nothing. Like, that's this Leonardo. And this Leonardo costs less. And not just because he's new, like, not just because the new one is new, but he costs less and you get more. I don't know. And I believe it was called a Turtle Comm. I don't know. It just... Super 7 blows me away sometimes. I don't understand how they do their pricing. I mean, I honestly don't know. Sometimes it blows me away. And then also they'll go out of their way and they'll like release something that just absolutely should not be as expensive as it is. They'll release a guy that's like their Thundercats line did it. They released like a tiny little dude, and they were like, he's also $54. And I'm like, for what? They do have a couple things coming out, though. They have an Ultimates Casey Jones here with battle damage. They have the Ninja April coming out. They're doing the Rock collection here. Like, there's stuff on the way, but the thing that's really a big showstopper right now is this. And by the way, this needs to be a standard of every Michelangelo release. Every single Michelangelo release needs these effect chucks. Like, absolutely needs them. I want them on every single Michelangelo that I buy. And I think it's a shame that it's not a standard pack-in with Michelangelo. Because it's too good. It's too perfect. Like, that's what you want. You want that effect piece. That era of animation, 2002 Turtles era, would have been perfect for a show like Extreme Ghostbusters. Like, it is cool. I'm very happy for the people that are about to pick these things up. Because I know we've been waiting for more modern versions, like good figures of the 2003 line for a long time. And it just hasn't happened. But it's about to. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be freaking out about these. And I know Scott's one of them. I just talked about this line. Like, I literally just talked about this line on my last video. I talked about, like, not really wanting it. Like, so here's Brother Voodoo. That's cool. My real association with Brother Voodoo, it's like Savage Avengers. I know him from Savage Avengers. Otherwise, he's really like a Doctor Strange kind of character, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where you find him more often than not. If you know him anyway. And so I don't have any. I just don't want him. I just don't care. There's the Strange Tales, Weapon Vengeance, so the Ghost Rider Wolverine, which is kind of cool, but like the only thing I really want from this is his head. So, like, it's not really for me. I just don't care. This is another one that I think I would pass on. Lilith, don't care. Pass. This is a good one. But we also just had a good one of him. Like, we just had him. So it's also somewhat of a hard sell. Now, there's argument to be made that this is on a better body. Maybe. I can't dictate to that 100%. But I feel like there's some more new age modern pieces here. I like the fact that the cape has the black, and I think the face is definitely better, and I think the colors overall are better than the last one released. But we did just have a good one of him, so, like, do you justify buying another one of these after literally just getting one of these not too long ago that were really solid? So, like, I don't know. I personally would be skipping on that. I'm surprised this guy came out at all. But Daemon Hellstorm, don't care. Like, it's just, I don't care. I just don't want him. So that's out. I thought I wanted this. When I first seen it, I seen this. This was the picture I saw. And I said, 80 Storm! It's not 80 Storm. That's Bloodstorm. It is a different concept altogether. And while it is cool, I don't want it. It's just not for me. So I'm passing on her. And I saw the Dracula. And I was interested for what it's worth. Maybe if I came across this guy, just came across him randomly, out in the wild, I would say, you know what? Yeah. I mean, I like the red. The armor's cool. It's a Dracula. He's got the open mouth fangs face. That's good. The sword is nice. He really pops. It seems like a solid figure in general. It's nice. But in terms of like pre-ordering it, I don't care enough. Bill, how does Super 7 come up with their prices? Super 7 CEO holding a dart with a number written on the wall. Did somebody say my name? Why is there Godzilla body chunks in each figure? I don't even know what you're talking about. Looks like Alien Predator. I mean, I like him for what it's worth. He's not a bad figure. But I'm not going to go out of my way for him, that's for sure. So, like, this entire line, aside from they showed that new Phoenix. That new Phoenix I want. That Phoenix looks great. Otherwise, I just don't care. Oh, and the Man-Thing would also be kind of cool. But I don't know what I'd do with him. If I'm being completely honest, Man-Thing is just cool because he's Man-Thing. Not necessarily because I actually want him. And I don't want the big Iron Man. I have an Iron Man on my shelf and I'm happy with him already, so I don't need him. This I don't care for. I want this. I've got it pre-ordered already, so that's coming. And then we're getting back into a bunch of stuff we've already talked about a whole bunch. Oh, and this, like seeing these back in stock, gets my attention, but only to have... I don't need an Aunt May, really. I don't know what I'd ever do with an Aunt May. But, like, that Doc Ock would be cool to have on the shelf, because that very much is the Doc Ock that I grew up with. It's the one that I knew from the animated series. And that's a cool concept in general, to think that I could put that one on the shelf. But I don't know. I don't know how much I'm going to go out of my way for something like that. And then I also saw this Marvel Legends, and I thought about her. I already have one. But she does look like... I don't know. I'm really fighting with myself. I think the only thing different here is the head. I mean, I'm looking at her and I'm trying to figure it out. I think that the Spider-Woman that I currently have on my shelf, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's differences here that I'm not seeing, but I think it's the exact same body that I have on my shelf right now. I think it's the same legs. I seem to recall this being the torso she had. I don't see a difference in the arms. Did she have the single elbows? Did that Spider-Woman have the single elbows? She's on my shelf. I could just double check if I'm being honest with myself. And I will double check eventually to see, because this was my favorite Spider-Woman. But yeah, I don't know. The voice of Doc Ock also voiced the animated series Alfred. I actually didn't know that was the same guy. And Aunt May? Are you talking about Aunt May? Is that where this comment came in? Because I don't believe she was a redhead in that series. I don't remember that. Oh well. Anyways, I will have to double check, because I'll have to see if that Spider-Woman is actually an update or not. Let's see here. Oh, this is just the overall clearance. We're not gonna... Yeah, I don't think we're gonna waste too much time with this. What's on Mattel? The same crap that always is? Guys, just give it up. At this point, you should just be giving toys away. And look what I mean! There's the horse right there! $10! There he is! They can't give that horse away! Yeah, okay. I'm not worried about any of that. So, I don't have Stratos. I'm not buying Stratos. I did get this Triclops. He's on the shelf right now. I just got confirmation that Webstore, Reptilax, and Evelyn, and Orko are on the way. I did get him already and already did a video on Merman. I think I want him. The more I look at him, the more I want him. I think he is cool. But I kind of have a mild halt on, getting too crazy into Origin right now, because I want to be careful not to be stupid. As of right now, no. And, I just don't have any reason to. I don't like WWE. And even combining them with Motu doesn't really do anything for me. I will say that I almost bought the girl, though, whoever she is, I don't know, but there's a girl for that Motu crossover, and she has a cape, and I thought about buying her. This is so stupid. I thought about buying her just to get the cape so that I could put it on Evelyn. Because I know this sounds stupid, but there's two problems I have with this Evelyn. One, if this is the cartoon Evelyn, she's not supposed to be a Simpson. She doesn't need to be a yellowish-greenish color. That doesn't make sense. That's wrong. And two, where's her cape? I know, we're on nitpick mode, but sometimes when it comes to this, you do nitpick, and the nitpick will help you decide what is worth and not worth to your collection, because sometimes the nitpicking will actually decide where your $20 goes from one side to the other. Also, in terms of the Spider-Woman, no, the Spider-Woman was a blonde. That Spider-Woman in particular was a blonde. Yeah, I was thinking she has jaundice. She's super jaundice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why, but that really does bother me. And I think it's because so far everything else from this line, everything else from the cartoon line has been absolutely solid. For the price point that they're selling at, it is very impressive how they have managed to keep everything I haven't opened a single one of them yet and not said, oh yeah, that's definitely him. That's definitely from the series. I can see the animated series on that guy. This Reptilax looks awesome. I'm looking forward to having him on the shelf. He's just a standard lizard man guy, but he's a really good lizard man guy that's going to be on the shelf, and I'm really looking forward to that, actually. So moving on from that, looks like Mezco Toys. Sorry, I'm just making sure that nothing's on my hands. Because I have an ice pack that I use sometimes during the stream. Nobody really stops to realize that I ever have anything like that. But I have an ice pack, and I keep it down on the side of my desk. And then sometimes if I feel like the room is getting warm or something like that, I put my wrist on the ice pack for a couple, like a minute or something like that, kind of rest my wrist on it, and it cools my body temperature down. And then I'm not like sweating on camera or something like that. So like that's the reason, because I'm in a small room. I'm in a little 10-10 room, and the heat doesn't, the air doesn't come up here like it does to the rest of the house. So it's nice to have a little ice pack. But like I almost felt like my hands were sticky for a second. They're not, but I was worrying for a second that maybe the ice pack was leaking. That's the reason I got weird for a second. But anyways, Mezco here. They did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection, and this is celebrating the original Turtles. I'm noticing that's a big thing right now. Almost everybody's doing a set of these right now. And the Mezco is asking $65, so we'll put that at $70, because with these guys, of course, you can get the $4 standard shipping, which is nice. And these guys are 5-point articulation figures, so there are problems here. You're not going to have any foot swivel or anything like that, so you're going to have to be careful as to how you plan to pose them or anything, but they do have the kind of lanky look about them. They're solid for what it's worth. They have the tails, so they are the very original Turtles. Multiple hands. Multiple hands are fun. Multiple hands are fun. That multiple heads, maybe? So you can switch out certain heads. Okay. Decision time. I'm going to say, oh, I don't like that at all. This just made my decision 1,000%. 1,000%. I was curious how they were getting certain bends in the knees and things like that with 5-point articulation. I was a little confused that maybe they were mislabeled. Now I know for sure this is a no. Personal opinion, these are a no. Not for me. Absolutely not. Not at that price point. Guys, we're just going to say this now. Ninja Turtles, right now, okay? Because there's a lot of stuff you can buy Ninja Turtle-wise. Like, Turtles is everywhere, guys. Like, it's unreal just how much Turtles is out here for us to grab right now. But, in terms of Turtles, here's these guys that are coming out. Another paint wave of these guys. Pretty cool. My favorite version of these paint guys so far, because this has been released multiple times now. These are kind of like they're good. This is not for me, not this one. My favorites of these so far are the black and white Sin City looking Turtles. I actually already have a video on here talking about them. I liked them a lot. I would consider buying the regular paint versions of these guys just to have to do some photography alongside when I get Jen, because I'm going to get Jennica, and when Jen comes in, that's going to be one that I would like to have, is some pictures with her and the other Turtles. And right now she's going to be off in terms of her coloring, so that's going to be a bit of an issue. But this I don't feel like, especially at $85, I understand that they're cool. And they are cool. If you don't have a set, maybe this set is the set for you, because I do think those Turtles are absolutely solid. But right now, I couldn't. No way. On a personal level, that's not where I justify. So this is where these ones come in. And this, at $64, I'm saying no to these Mezcos. I don't think this is good. I think that's a bad buy, personally. And I also would say for these, I own these already. And just so we can get this out of the way, the weapons were okay at best. At best, like the coloring isn't great for these weapons, which kind of takes me out of it a little bit because the turtles looked decent for what it's worth. They're supposed to be the original turtles, but they don't have tails. As you can see, there's no tails. So they're not. What they are is they took another body. And of course, by the way, this is Playmates, so we all seen this coming anyway because they're absolutely famous for just reusing the same body 900 times. But they did that here, and they never fixed the hand problem. And if you don't know about the hand problem, on this body specifically, these turtles, their fingers break. They get, like, stuck, or sometimes they get, like, too hot or whatever, and their fingers will get stuck. And I went to move Raphael's fingers, and I didn't even move them very hard. I was just like, come on, close, pop, done. And then of course you have to glue his hand back and everything like that, and it's a big hassle, and it's just not worth it. And for what these guys are normally $100. Right now they're all the way down to like $50, and still I would tell you, and I own these personally, still I would tell you, no, they're not worth it. These figures on a personal level are not good. I had them on my shelf for a very long time. I think the video for those turtles might still be up on this channel. I don't know. It has been a very, very long time. It might still be up on this channel. But I would tell you that those are no's for me. This is the one that I bought. And I got mine. I got mine for an absolute sick steal, guys. Mine cost $25. $25. I basically stole my turtles at that price. Like, if you want to be honest, man, because these are so cool. These black and white Sin City type turtles, like, they're so good. Those I would recommend. I already did a video on here and everything. I liked them a lot. I really, really did. I also would say no to these. They're trying to act like original turtles, like comic book turtles. I would also tell you no on these. I don't like these either. These ones from Loyal Subjects, because no, they're not. They're cartoon bodies, or maybe even video game bodies, kind of reworked to be the original turtles. I also don't feel like that's solid. I'll say that there is a set of Playmate turtles out, though. If you want an original set of turtles, like one to represent the comic books, right? And by the way, we're going to go back and this is so cool. This sewers thing. I mean, realistically, like if I had a place to actually put something like this, because that would be a solid diorama to just do a lot of other stuff with, that would be really cool. But if you wanted a solid right now set of turtles to represent the comic books, there is a set of them currently on the market that I think is easy. I think it's fairly easy to get your hands on. It's from Playmates. So we'll just click Playmates right here. And, is there... There. We'll see if we can narrow this down and see if they're actually selling it here. First off, that blimp. Just to put this out there, because I do know this now, mild research, very mild, the bottom is different. The bottom of the blimp has been altered from the original design of the blimp. But if you want a Turtles blimp, this is the best way to do it. It is. It just is. Like, you're not going to get a better way to do this. This is the important part. This bottom cage carry thing right here, you're never even going to think about it once it's on your shelf. Unless you're an absolute hardcore, no BS, I collect. These are the turtles I was thinking about. These. I don't think you'd go wrong with either one of these, but on a personal level, these are not the ones I would go with. They're fine. they do look very close to the actual color release of the Mirage comics. They look good, okay? They kind of match that original color style. I wish they were a little darker, because you can see right here, the turtles were a little darker in that specific Mirage recolor. And that's what it was. It was a recolor. So the color edition, they released them, and they when you see them in person, they are kind of brighter green, okay? That's not an illusion. Like, they are this kind of like you get them and they're kind of a brightish greenish color. And these are fine. I have one of them. I used to have all four of them. Right now I only have one. I have Leonardo, and he's got his swords. And it's all I have. And he's fine. And for $40, if you want movie turtles, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 point articulation, I believe. Is that right? It does not tell me. Multiple point articulation. So we'll just count them just to play games here. The wrist moves, that's 1. The elbow moves, that's 2. Then we got the arm right here, that's 3. So that puts 6 on the arms. So right there, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 here, so that's 10, and the neck moves. So that's 11 point articulation. They're 11 point articulation turtles. The only thing these guys lack is there's no ankle rock. And Nowadays, I would argue it doesn't matter how many points of articulation you have. You could have 70 points of articulation. If you don't have the ankle rock, I didn't mean to actually use this terminology, but I'm about to. You've already shot yourself in the foot. Because it alters a lot of the things you can do. Like, literally 40%, if not more, of the poses you want to do are now limited because the ankles won't sit right, the feet won't sit right on the ground. But I think that if you want just an easy, no big cash, but like, how do I put this? Accurate enough to the original comic book idea and display, these turtles would look absolutely fine on your shelf. They would look fine. They are 4 inches. They're not very big turtles. They're actually smaller than the 5.5 articulated turtles that we had in our childhoods. They're smaller than that. But you could also argue, and I don't know how well you'd argue it, it's up for debate here, that the turtles of the cartoon were a wee bit bigger than the turtles of the comic. Because the turtles of the comic were small. They were all like 5 foot. Like small guys. But they were also very small in the animated series, the original animated series, compared to April. So you get where I'm coming at. But I don't think they'd look bad. If you put them next to the other turtles, you could argue the idea that these turtles don't look like those turtles because these are the comic book turtles, and you could get yourself into the concept of these are smaller turtles. But if you were to put a set of these on the shelf, I would buy these. These are cool. They all have the red bandanas, which is pretty cool. But they're the black and white turtles. These are like very much, they came right off, like right off the pages. That's cool. It even looks good, like you see this, where only the bandanas are colored on the artwork and whatnot. You see that right there, and these look good. And then you also don't have to worry about the fact that the weapons aren't high quality weapons. They are just like plastic quick weapons. But they're also just white weapons now. So they kind of fit. And you could go in with a Gundam marker and just kind of mark the areas in the weapons where you want there to be a little more detail. And I think these work very well. These are great. It's a simple repaint, black, white, gray with the red bandanas, but it just hits different, man. These are good. I like these. And these will run you about $60. this is the version I would put on my shelf. Personally, if I was to get original comic book Turtles, this is the one I would put on my shelf. Like, beyond the shadow of a doubt, these are the ones I would do. But that's just me. Moving on from Turtle discussion. Ooh, you are back on the market. So, we got the X-Men 60th anniversary Marvel Legends The Blob back on the market. This guy is awesome. He is an absolutely fantastic figure. I'm not buying him for what it's worth. I don't feel like I missed out on him because I don't know what I'm going to do, honestly, with a Blob on my shelf. But that doesn't change the fact that he's done exceptionally well. The argument, do I feel he's an $80 figure? I'm going to say no. I think $80 is a hard push for this. I realize he's rare. I realize he is big. He's a lot of plastic. But $80 is a lot. And I think I've seen some big, chonky figures go for like $40. And especially right now, you're Hasbro. Okay? And the reason I bring that up is because Hasbro is currently doing the G.I. Joe lines. And the G.I. Joe lines, if we're being completely honest with ourselves here, the G.I. Joe lines that are out right now are insanity. I mean, they're so good. They're unbelievably good. So, like, with the G.I. Joe line being what it is, and pricing the way it prices, where they're selling like a guy and a missile launcher with like multiple explosions, missiles and smoke trails for like $34, and then here Hasbro turns right around. The same company turns right around as like Marvel Legends, The Blob, $80. There's only one explanation for this. Only one, as far as I can tell, and I'm fully speculating. Let's be honest about anybody that wants to give their opinion on the toy industry. We are speculating. We don't actually know. Okay? But if I had to guess, the only thing that makes sense is that the Disney Marvel license must be ridiculous. It must be ridiculous. Because that's the only thing I can think of. Like, because here we go, Hasbro, and then I want to go find Marvel. So Hasbro Marvel. Like, this isn't bad. See, this is where I get confused. This is a pretty solid Venom. Alongside, I can't remember who this guy is. Like, he's got the wings and everything like that. That's a solid Venom. $54. Now, originally, this is an $80 pack. So, argument. But look, even this Spider-Man right here, this is a standard figure. I don't care if he has the arms on his back. I don't care what they want to say. That Spider-Man is a standard figure at $35. So, $40 after shipping. There's got to be a reason for that. There just has to be a reason for that. Look at this Spider-Man. He comes in this tiny box. He comes with nothing. The arms, web hands. No webs. The arms. You're not going to convince me that these arms are a big enough deal to put him up to $35 where he is. And the reason I say that is because let's play devil's advocate here for a second. Let's go to Hasbro, okay? G.I. Joe. Look at this. He comes with an eagle. $24? I mean, this guy comes with a lot of stuff, by the way. A lot of stuff. Look at all this. And the eagle? Okay. Say, Bill, that's an eagle. Okay, that's fine. Storm Shadow. He comes with all of this. $24. Okay. Still not a fair comparison? Sure. Let's keep arguing. Oh, here's one guy. $45. Okay. He's a Joe. Yeah, well, I mean, he's Cobra, but you get the idea. He's a Joe. They didn't skimp on him, by the way. He is a Joe, okay? He gets every bit the same articulation and same like stuff that everybody else got. Absolutely fantastic figure, face design, and things like that. He gets a missile pod with, by the way, treads and everything like that, so it can like roll around and whatnot. It is fully posable, by the way, the missile pod is. It has smoke trails and fires and multiple explosions. It's $45. This is what it is. All of this, $45. But then that Spider-Man is $34. It comes with nothing. Just to hammer it home a little bit more. And I know I'm really pushing this, but like it just does not make sense to me. It really doesn't. It feels crazy to me that this is a thing. Look at this. Here's comparable. This is a fair comparison right here, okay? You're $34. You're $35. That puts you at a $40 range. You're a $40 figure. You're a $40 figure, Spider-Man. You come with arms. They're kind of cool. I mean, they are cool. Tiny box. Tiny little box. Arms. Couple of web feet, like web shooter hands. You're a solid figure. I'm not saying he's not a solid figure. But I'm trying to say there's got to be something going on licensing-wise, because this, at the same company, Hasbro, at the same company, also a $40 figure. We're looking at $35 right here. This guy has arms. He's fully articulated. He has every bit the same kind of movement that Spider-Man does, believe it or not. I would tell you he's sculpted better than that Spider-Man is. I would argue with all of this detail in the pants and things like that, he's sculpted better than bodysuit. Just naked bodysuit with a couple of things sculpted like this. All of this, these glasses, by the way, removable. Like you don't have to have those on. He has a bunch of effects. The face is highly detailed, even down to the point of having tattoos on the face, even down right here. Independent tiny paint details on the front, which means that this guy has more paint apps than Spider-Man does. He comes with arms. He comes with weapons. He comes with vest. He comes with more paint ops. He's more detailed. He's a higher sculpt. He has effects. Each one of these missiles actually has like smoke trails and everything like that. Look at all this. He has multiple hairs. He has the glasses. He has the helmet. He has a unhelmeted, unglassed face. So you got 3 different character portraits, maybe 4 different character portraits, depending on how you'd like to set them up. He has different levels of smoke trail missiles. He has the arm pack thing that's on his back. He has 2 different guns, the knife, and he's higher detail than this Spider-Man, and they're both $40. The only explanation that I can come up with, the only explanation that makes sense to me, it has to be that the license for the Marvel Disney stuff is outrageous. They must be losing a lot of money per figure just to pay for the license to be able to put out Marvel Legends, which has to be increasing their prices. That's the only way this guy is $80. Because otherwise the value is not there. And I would argue the value is not here. Not compared to what the same company is doing in other lines. Now, you could probably argue this guy at $50 matches the value that I see. I could argue that. I could argue that. Yeah, you know what? I could buy into this. $50, I think that's not actually bad for what that is. $30. I know it's not that big of a change, but $30, I can buy into this. And he has more arms. And he has more details and more paint op than the other Spider-Man did. Like, the Ghost Rider is $50. I'm honest here when I tell you that sometimes I really don't understand where they get their pricing. I can't figure it out. It blows me away sometimes. I just can't get a lock on what the determining factor is that determines the value of the thing that you're buying. I can't figure it out. We got two new things coming in, by the way. I thought this was cool because we have the Stinger driver set. This is cool. Like, it really is. That's a solid truck right there. It's got a decent amount of detail in it. It's a cool little vehicle. It's to the scale for the, like, it fits the actual scale perfectly for what you're looking at. And look at this shot right here. This is what sold me on it. Not that I'm buying this, but this is what sold me on it. To tell me that you could put the camera and get this kind of a shot and see this level of detail inside of the vehicle, that's impressive to me. Like, very impressive. Look at that. That's actually cool that the winch actually works. This is a cool truck. This is a really cool little armored vehicle thing with, once again, effects. Missiles with smoke trails. Explosions. This guy comes with explosions, two different head pieces. Comes with multiple guns. He can carry everything that comes with him. He gets this little fire extinguisher thing that's just kind of goofy but fun because it's part of the vehicle. It makes sense. He gets the vehicle. He gets all these different effects and smoke trails and everything like that. He's $100. Is that a lot? That's a decent. That's a decent price chunk. It's a decent price chunk, but like, are we asking too much? I'm fighting myself here. Because I feel like you could justify the price point. I feel like you could. I feel like maybe you'd be, of course, apologizing to yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Being like a toy apologist. Because, I mean, it is $100 for one figure and a truck. But it's in 6-inch scale. It has an awful lot of detail. I don't know. I think an argument could be made. Because we're not looking at like the Batmobile thing that costs $40. Yeah, the Batmobile costs like $50 for the Superpower line. It's Batman. It actually doesn't look this detailed, and it's not this big either, because it fits 5.5 scale figures or whatever, 5-inch scale figures. No, sorry, they're smaller than that, aren't they? They're like 4 or 3.4 or something like that. I don't remember. You could probably argue this is fine. You could probably argue that's a solid buy. I talked about her in the last stream. I do want her. This is cool. Sergeant Slaughter coming back out. And more of his original colors. As far as I remember, I thought I remembered the blue shirt. Am I imagining that I had one with the blue shirt? Because I feel like when I was growing up, I had the one with the blue shirt. I like that he comes with barbells. He comes with boxing gloves. Like, he comes with the army duffel. Like, this is a cool figure right here. And he comes with a miniature action figure of himself. So that you can actually take this guy, and instead of him being, Sergeant Slaughter, you can actually play off the idea that he was in wrestling as Sergeant Slaughter, or you could just literally play him as the actual guy himself. For like photography, he could actually be the actual guy himself holding up the action figure. So you could play a lot of different areas of like effects and ideas and whatnot for this guy. This is cool. This is cool. I also really dig the fact that he's got barbells and everything. As a solid figure. That's a really solid figure for $35. That might be the best Sergeant Slaughter they've released. Now, I can't say that for sure, because I'm not a Sergeant Slaughter fan for what it's worth. But I really like this one. All the other ones that I've seen so far have made me go, well, that's cool, and then I move on. This one kind of caught my attention, in all honesty. Now, I was thinking about these, but not now. Now that I see that it's Tamashii Nation, and I know they're going to pay $100 for an SH Figuarts, like, this is another line that I have trouble justifying. $100? How big are you? Pfft, you're not even 6 inches. You're not even 6 inches tall. $100? See, this is why I say that you could justify a G.I. Joe vehicle and a troop for $100 with all the effects. Because here, on one of the highest rated figures that on the market, people love these. The Bandai Spirits SH Figuarts line, people love them. They swear by them. And then they'll release this one guy, Athrin Zala, $100 for, what's he come with? Himself and a helmet, a pair of shades? And if you want both of them, of course, it was at Kira Yamato. Let me guess, that's another $100. She's $80. She's $100. Yep, Kira Yamato. Yeah, $100. He comes with a bird. Oh, that's getting your money's worth right there. Ooh, a different face. Different face, a gun and a bird? I'm sold. Sign me up. Take my money. Oh, look at that. A Haro. A ball. He comes with a ball? Not even an articulated one. Just a slightly etched ball? Oh, man. Take my money. Take my $100. See, this is what I mean when I say that we will justify the things that we like. Because we do. People are going to buy this. Because it's Gundam. That's cool. It's Gundam Seed. Some people would argue that's really cool. They're the two mainline characters that people are going to want. I get it. But, like, tell us we're not lying to ourselves. If you can sit here and say Kira Yamato is worth $100, and then complain about the G.I. Joe that comes with the vehicle and all the effects and everything like that for $100 and go, yeah, $100, I wish they weren't charging so much. Guys, come on. The market is where it is right now. Oh, I was actually thinking this was something else when I clicked on it. I mean, it is really cool, but I actually thought it was something else. That's okay, though. Solid statue. I'm not about to spend $700 on anything right now, but solid statue. Mondo, the Man-Bat, is back on the market. Is he back on the market, or is he just on the market? I just started looking over Mondo stuff, in all honesty. I know some of this stuff is back on the market. I know that. Because they basically did like a big, giant rerun of a bunch of guys that they already did. Because I saw a lot of like the stuff come out. Like a lot of the stuff came back onto the market from this, like, from Motu and whatnot. Like, a lot of guys came back into stock, came back onto the market and whatnot. Like Hordak, I'm pretty sure he came back onto the market. He's something that had already been done. So that's actually pretty cool. And Skeletor's back on the market. Oh, this is the Revelation Skeletor. Cool. Some of these are really good. Like, I've got one. This would be awesome. I would love this, in all honesty. Like that I would love. I would absolutely love to put that one on my shelf. I think that is fantastic. But I really loved that movie. I thought that movie was absolutely breakout. Yeah, so they got a lot of stuff that came back into circulation, which is good. It's legit good, actually, because some of this stuff, like she showed up and then sold out so fast, and then a lot of people were mad they didn't have a chance at her, and now she's already back up on pre-order. So that's actually really solid. And I think what we're looking at right now is we're looking at a hemorrhage. I think what happened is toy companies put a bunch of figures out. And then they lost a bunch of money. Like, they lost a bunch of money. Almost every other toy that was coming out was going to clearance. People were, like, literally playing chicken clearance. They were like, I ain't about to buy nothing because it's just going to go to clearance. Like, everybody just knew that's where we were going with it. So the items would go to clearance. And then people would wait. It'd go to clearance. Then they buy it. Now, I'm not saying they were wrong for doing that. But there is a repercussion to playing that game. When items go to clearance, the toy company loses money. When the toy company loses money, you better believe they don't just cut their losses. They're in the business of making money. That's the only reason you and I get figures in the first place. Let's be honest about it. It's a business. We are feeding that empire. You can choose not to feed that empire. We vote with our wallets. But when you do, the items that you want, they will go away. That's the nature of the beast. You don't buy Battle Cat. They don't sell Battle Cat. It's no more complicated than that. Well, what happened, I think, personally, and I've been in logistics my entire life, so I do know a little bit about this, to be fair. I'm still speculating, but I do know a little bit about this. I've done logistics for almost my entire life. What happened on a personal level, here's what I think went down. They sold a bunch of stuff. It went to the stores. It went to clearance. They took a bunch of losses. They started saying, toys aren't selling. Back the production rate up. They pulled the rates way back. Yeah, pull them back here. Then, I think what ended up taking place was we started watching pre-orders sell out in like a minute, 30 seconds, 6 minutes. Like, nobody can get anything they want. Stuff is going up. It goes up. It's there for like 3 minutes. You didn't get it. So you're screwed. I think what happened was they backed the lines hard. Like, they pulled the reins way back. And then they dropped the amount they were making. But that didn't drop the amount of people that were still buying at the regular level, not playing clearance chicken. And then people bought. Those normal people bought. But now some other people are jumping in because they start to realize that all the pre-sales are going by fast. And if you don't get in on it, you're going to pay secondary market. So now that increases the amount of people that are actually buying them at normal price, not playing chicken because they played chicken and they got burned. So now everybody comes back in and tries to buy figures. But the rate of build, like the rate of production, has already gone way down. So their stock is not there. And then you say, well, they could just open the lines and make more figures. Not always, believe it or not. But if they do jump back in and make another wave, right? Now they're back to the same point that they were at. How many do we make? Because they're not about to make so many that they play the clearance chicken game again and they lose a bunch of money. The company doesn't want to do that. They want to make what they know will sell, be successful, satisfy enough customers to make enough customers come back, but not have so many sitting on the shelf that it causes a problem later on. They don't want that. They don't want that problem. So now they got to say, all right, well, that sold out in like 3 minutes. People want this. They go online. They look around. There's enough people asking for it. They say, let's do another run. And I really think that's part of what's going on with the toy companies right now, because we're watching pre-orders that go up, people buy them, In fact, the Ghost Rider did that, right? The Ghost Rider went up, a bunch of people bought him, the Ghost Rider went down, then the Ghost Rider came back about a month later, kind of silently, like, here you go. You can get him now. And I don't think that's people canceling pre-orders. I think they realized it sold out like that. Do another run. So then they did another run. And now it's not selling out. Like all of a sudden you could just pre-order. He's available everywhere. You could just go get him right now. Just go get him. But he did sell out like that first day, like crazy fast. So my best guess as to what's going on here is that we're watching a hemorrhage in the system right now. Now they're trying to figure out where the actual buying market is, and they're underproducing. While they underproduce, they realize that a bunch sells, then they try to kind of catch themselves back up. Okay, well that sold very well, do another run. Crap, that was too many, now we're going to be sitting on 1,000 units all of a sudden. Or maybe they just cut their losses at that point and go, well, it'll be nice for the stores to have a couple thousand to sell here and there. But then if that bites them in the butt again, and these figures don't sell off the shelves, if we don't get to sold out status, because I know we hate that. I know we hate it. Because I do too. We hate to go down this list and get to the end of it or whatever and see that dreaded this. You can't get Harley Quinn. She's sold out. You can't get Canadian Logan, no, you know what I'm talking about, like, you know, street clothes Logan. You can't get that. He's sold out. You can't get neat looking Magneto with wows. He's sold out. This one makes me sad face. You can't get She-Ra. She's sold out. I get it. We hate seeing that. But the companies love this. Sold out. Whenever they see sold out, it means we will get more toys. That's what it means. Sold out is good for company, bad for us. We would love to think that they're just always available. You want to get your Jubilee and add her to your shelf or whatever? I know. But they also don't want 1,000 Jubilees sitting on the shelves somewhere, because then it looks like the toy was a failure. It didn't quite sell well. They're going to have to back their numbers down on the next one. Sold out means more toys. In stock is not actually a good thing unless it's a restock. Then that's a different idea altogether. And pre-orders that also don't sell out is not necessarily good for the industry's growth rate either. So it is a complicated game that we play. I've just been in the game long enough to kind of formulate my own ideas around it, and I do actually have a lot of logistics experience. I have been in logistics since I was around 19. I think I started working logistics. Because I want to say around 15 I was working in theaters and stuff like that, and then somewhere around 19 years old I jumped into working packing companies, specifically in larger scale logistics for it wasn't tractor parts. I worked, my first logistics job was in something called Brazilian freight, where I prepped materials that would go for large scale machinery, for overseas work in Brazil. And then I got to use a flamethrower, so that was cool. That was actually kind of part of it. There was this big thing that we had to do in order to put them on the ship. You would take them over to this bay, you would get it all set, you would put a bunch of stuff on this, and then you would take this. There was a big bag type of thing that was on the floor, and you kind of drive that over, you put the thing down, and you roll this bag, you kind of grab it and pull it up over to the different sides of it, and all four sides until it was kind of laying on top of each other. And then there was this flamethrower thing that you had, this super flame heat gun that you would pick up, and you had to wear gloves and a mask thing, and you would hit the button and it would zhoo, and you kind of glide it across the top of the bag a couple times, and it would kind of melt and seal all of it and kind of create a tight seal, like an air seal, so that then you could load it onto the ship and everything. It was cool. It was neat to do. This is not bad at all. And the reason I say that is for $34, you get a solid Yellow Ranger male body. So you can make a Super Sentai shelf. You get a female red body. So you could play off your own idea of having like a female Red Ranger, just in general. I know this is from the comic book. I'm not saying anything about it one way or another. I'm just saying it's neat to have the difference here. But you get a fairly decent Jason head with this. I don't know that I'm in love with the Trini head here, I'll be honest with you. But in terms of what you're going to get away with for a Jason head, this is pretty good. Like, it is really good, Lightning Collection-wise, especially because they do bad heads. I'm saying it. For anybody that likes the Lightning Collection stuff, they do bad heads. Or at least they did until the remastered line came out, and they started doing heads like this. That is a good head sculpt. So, it just depends on where you buy. Because, like, this is the, let's see, this is the 30th anniversary Pink Ranger. Let me see. Is this part of the remaster? Yeah, that's a solid Kimberly head. That's a good one. It has all the effects and whatnot. But, like, if you go down to, like, the earlier Lightning Collection, like, it on a personal level, it was just terrible. Like, I really did not like the face sculpts and whatnot. But I heard that the Red Ranger for the Remaster Collection is not going to come with a Jason head. I heard that he won't come with an unmasked Jason head. So if you want the Jason head, this is how I would do it. I would pay the $34. I would get this Jason head because it will work, and it's a solid Jason head for what it's worth. And then you also get these two bodies, which are unique bodies for your Power Ranger shelf in general. That's the way I would do that. But they got this pre-order coming pretty soon, aside from the Alien Rangers, which is fine, I guess. If you want this team, there they are. You could get this team. I don't care. But we have a solid older Tommy head, and that is good to finally have one of these coming on the market. And right now, I hate that I have to even say this because I have to say it, but it is true. Right now, Tommy merchandise is going to sell like crazy, and we know why. It may not be right that all of a sudden everybody wants in on the train, because you know that some of the people that are buying this are just buying this. They're buying it because he died. Let's be honest about the situation. They're buying it because he died and they know that he'll be worth money. That's the truth of the matter at this point. Not that he wouldn't have sold out regardless, but let's be honest about why his uptick happens. I don't think it's right. It bothers me, but that is the nature of the game. We know that's happening. So if you don't get in here and get this, you might not get it at all. And it is cool to have an older Tommy head for like an experienced Ranger and whatnot. Then you could swap this onto things like the Green Ranger and White Ranger for those really cool moments where like he did come back to the show, you know, like in like events like that. And then you could put that on those bodies. That's solid. That's actually really cool. I like that a lot for what it's worth. I'll be honest, there are things that I've seen in this collection that I kind of wish I would have gotten into. I'm not about to now, but like Pinhead and some of the Parantis head, Parantis head or whatever. Like that's a monster that I remember because he took down the Megazord. He would have been cool to have, and I like this. Not this. I actually don't like these at all. Like I was saying, I like this Zack, but I already have a set of Rangers on the shelf. I don't think this, even though they are really good, I don't think it would justify the price tag that it would take me to put another set of Rangers on the shelf when I already have a set of Rangers on the shelf that I'm happy with. I just can't see a reason for doing it. But yeah, this was the last thing that I wanted to come in and check tonight. I don't know about any of this stuff, to be fair. I'll look at this again and be sad about it. I want to look at that, actually. But yeah, the one thing I definitely wanted to look at was actually this. So, yep, you're down to $183. Look at that. You're just flying off the shelf at $183, aren't you? It kills me because I really do. He's the only one I need. But like that's a lot of money, guys. That's a real kick in the teeth. It's probably gonna be one of those things that I look at forever and then never end up getting, and then get mad that I never actually got it. But hey, that's the nature of it. You spend $20 here, you can't spend $20 there. I see these at the store all the time, and I never buy them because they just feel so gimmick to me. These are cool. Now, I don't know about that's a lot, to be fair. $180, I don't think it's $180 cool. But I do like the fact that these like Pokemon trainer statues are now coming with like little starter Pokemon that like, this is cool. And it's, especially for like video game wise, and it's for some people, this is it, man. Because like you can put this in with your games and everything. It's really cool. It is cool. I think it's expensive for what it is, but it's cool. That's what I wanted to see. What is this? Oh, it's a statue. Okay. It's a really cool statue at $150. Like, really solid. Oh, does it have an articulated arm, or does it have switchable arms? Because it has one that goes on the hip and then one that goes straight down. You must be able to pick. There must be different variants of this statue out. Yeah, it says it's various. Okay, which that makes sense. Okay. But that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see this Tomb Raider that's out right now. $90? $90 Tomb Raider, original Tomb Raider. I guess there's multiple statues hitting right now. Let's look at these real quick. Did I just get a message? I'm guessing the Power Rangers X Street Fighter effects on the Chun-Li fit the Jada figure. I don't know. Like, that's a legit question there, Keaton Carr, because, like, I actually don't know. That makes me wish I had her. I intend to. I haven't done it yet, but it is on my roster to buy the Phoenix, Chun-Li. That's actually something that I want, like legit want. So, I guess keep your eye open. I'm actually not trying to self-promote here. I mean, but I guess I am. That's not actually my intention. I'm just saying that if you're curious, now that you've said that here, when I do get her, I will test that. I'll see if the effects actually work with that Chun-Li, if they kind of scale out well and they work that way. Because if they do, that's really cool. Because I intend to get her anyway. The only thing I have left for my Power Ranger shelf, in general, the only thing I like want for it is like random oddities. Like, I like the Street Fighter Chun-Li idea. I think that's a cool design, and I would like to put her on the shelf. But otherwise, I'm pretty much done collecting Power Rangers. I have what I want. This, not for me. I'm not liking the design of Laura here. It just looks kind of goofy to me. So that statue at $100 is not for me. Let's check the next Laura. Looks like the same sculptor. I can't guarantee that, but I'm just saying it in general. Also not for me. I do not like this Laura design. It's weird to me. It feels like Fortnite Laura. And I don't have any experience with that either. I don't play Fortnite. I'm just simply stating the art style looks like that to me, and that's definitely not to coin a phrase here because I hate this phrase, but not my Laura. But this one might be my Laura. It's $90. Okay, so we're looking at Tomb Raider 1. We got like stuff coming out of the floor and whatnot, and we got the spikes coming out of the wall. That's actually a cool action scene. Oh, and the fire just barely missing her butt cheeks here. That's actually really cool because it's like a really close dodge, like a really, really awesome like moment like you'd have been proud of in the game, you know what I mean? And that's actually cool. I like that she has the Scion, the Skion. That's cool. So we got a lot of Tomb Raider 1 ideas here, really solid. I'm noticing, is it avoiding a straight on with the face? I see the body and everything looks good. The human dimension and everything is working out real well. I like the dead guy here and everything. You can see where the traps are coming up. She's nimble. She's really playing off the idea. She's making her dodge and everything. Oh, and you can choose how detailed that is too. That's cool. So you could choose to put in the spikes and the fire and stuff like that. So you can have an absolute amazing moment. Or it looks like you could switch this arm, I'm guessing, because one had the ski on and one doesn't. Can I get a good look at the face? I want to see the face. Show me the face. Why are you avoiding the face on these pictures? I know that we want to see... There we go. I'm fighting with myself. Is that a good face? It's got the full lips. The hair is, of course, right. That's decent. I feel like there's a lot of forehead, but I feel like Laura had a lot of forehead. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe if I put a picture of Laura right here, like from the old PlayStation 1, like high render, maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like Laura showed a lot of forehead. And of course her hair was pulled back, so of course she did. But I feel like Laura had a big forehead. The eyebrows seem right. I mean, we're looking at PlayStation 1 Laura. So we got to be careful, like, not to delude ourselves into the way that we see Laura nowadays. Because that's simply not the same... That's not the same argument, and it's also not the same argument, because Laura has changed quite a bit. The face is not perfect. I'm going to go ahead and call it out right now. Let me go find an original PlayStation. Let me go find one that we can play off real quick. Let me move my mic here. So, let me check this, because I'm only going to do this with the absolute official. I don't want to get into something. I want it to be right. So let me check this. That's the first right there. And that's the loading screen for the first. And that's going to be about the best that we're going to do. Realistically. What's this? No. I know you can't even see what I'm looking at right now. No. This website does not want to load pictures at all. Okay, this is original PlayStation 1 artwork right here. That's PlayStation 1 artwork. That is as original as you can get. That's the high-def rendering of the original PlayStation 1 artwork right there. That's her face, okay? So if we're arguing here, we need the full lips. That's present. She does have a thicker face. I mean, she's got the hard cheeks, but she does have a thicker face back in the original. And there it looks like we have a nice curve off the cheeks, so they kind of got that aspect. Her eyes should be a darker brown, so that's an argument to be had. But you could argue in terms of whichever render. Like I said, you see, there's a lot of forehead, so that's right. The bangs and everything seem to be right. The eyebrows are pretty solid. You could argue they should have been darker. Like these should have been kind of like almost near black. But for what this is, at $100 on a statue, with this much detail for what it's worth, and all the extra stuff that it comes with, and the options that it gives you for display, and it is... We're looking at 6.5, 7.3, 6.8. So that's a pretty decent box right there, if you want the truth of it. I mean, it's action figure size for what it's worth. That's not necessarily a bad thing either, because action figure size would also guarantee that just about anybody could get that and put it on their shelf, could put it on their desk, could put it at their workstation, could put it on their gaming shelf. It's not so big that it wouldn't simply fit on your gaming shelf. I have Motu figures that are bigger than that. In fact, all the Motu figures are bigger than that. Every single Motu figure standing next to her would be bigger than her. So she's action figure size. That's not bad. And technically, she's under $100. That's a decent statue. I would tell you that if you were in the market for a decent statue right now, and especially if you're just starting and you don't want to spend like $500 on like a high-end statue, that might be your gateway into something cool. And it might be your chance if you like retro Laura, which I do. I actually do like retro Laura. I even have an entire video on this channel. Sorry, I moved my mic over here. I even have an old video on this channel actually that talks about how I actually miss the retro version of Laura from time to time. Like, I very blatantly understand and believe and agree that the newer games, I feel like they're better games, but I don't necessarily feel like it's a better Laura. Sometimes I miss the brazen, hardcore 90s comic book attitude of what that was. In fact, it played very well into allowing her to branch into comic books. I own the Tomb Raider Compendium. Was it Top Cow or Image? I can't remember. I own it. I could just go look at it, to be fair. I want to say it's the same. I want to say it's Top Cow. Because I want to say it goes along with this. Because the Witchblade Compendium, these books, they also, she actually appears in there. Witchblade and Laura actually have comics together in that specific series and that specific continuity. So, I mean, like, she loaned herself to comic books very well with the attitude that she had at that time. And I honestly miss that sometimes. I do. There are times that I miss things from the past, okay? Sometimes I do have a hard nostalgia drive, and Laura's one of those things that sometimes gets that going because, like, there are times that I feel like we took a step backwards when now the first game is fine. I understand that she, like, is kind of, like, victimed, okay? Because, like, the first game, it is that design. It's her coming into her own. And it's a scary story, and very much if you found yourself in that situation and you had to kill to survive and things like that, I'm on board for exactly how that first game plays out. But then we go to the second game, and we play the victim card again, where we have, like, victim Laura that, like, has to fight and survive and be a victim. And then we go to the third game, and I don't know if it's just the personality they're playing, but once again, it feels like victim Laura, where we fight and survive being victimized again. And I get that she doesn't, like, go looking for trouble. But in the original mythology, in the original game, she kind of did go looking for trouble. She was an Indiana Jones-esque character. And it played very much a pulp icon hero type of thing, like a 1930s pulp hero, where they go looking for adventure and trouble. They find adventure and trouble, but they have an attitude that allows them to meld survive that kind of situation. Indiana Jones never necessarily feels like the victim of the situation. He goes looking for adventure and trouble. And then we go on an adventure with him. That was Laura. And now we really don't have that. We always have, like, she goes to do a job, or she's trying to live her own life or do her own thing or something of that nature, and then life victimizes her. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a different feeling than it used to be. And I miss the original sometimes. I really do. I wish we had, like, a best of both worlds. And now I guess we kind of do, because we have the original games back. Kind of. But I mean, they feel old when you play them. I'm not oblivious to that. The tank controls and the difficult nature of it and the cheapness of the game for what it was worth from time to time. It does bother me sometimes to play that old game because it feels old and not in a good way all the time. But when it works, it really works and it's really great. So I don't know. Part of being 40, I guess. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. I have a vacation to start. So I'm going to get out of here. I don't know when the next videos are going up for this channel, but I do have like 6 of them in the back burner. But we'll see when those actually drop, because for right now, I'm going to get out of here.